here's your first look at the Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragon. May the 5th be with you, Game of Thrones fans, and while that sounded a lot better in my head, we do have some good news to share with you today. And no, not that The Winds of Winter is finally coming out, or those bonkers fan petitions to reshoot all of Season 8 are actually happening. Rather, in HBO's quixotic quest to recapture the lightning in a bottle that was Game of Thrones Seasons 1 through 7, they are creating a number of Game of Thrones prequels and spin-off series in the hopes of luring us back to Westeros so we can frolic about like freshly fallen snow. After teasing us with images of the cast assembled for a script read in what looks like a weird modern-day Lannister lair, HBO revealed the first official images and detailed character descriptions for House of the Dragon on Wednesday morning. Co-created by Colony's Ryan Condal and George R.R. Martin and based on Martin's book Fire and Blood, House of the Dragon takes place some 300 years before the events of Game of Thrones. As suggested by the title, it follows everyone's favorite family with a history of fiery tempers and a penchant for burning people alive, the Targaryens. And based on how things wound up going with Daenerys, I'm sure that everything will be totally fine, super chill, and not at all divisive. The original book covers the time period from Aegon Targaryen's conquest of the Seven Kingdoms all the way through the regency of the boy king Aegon III. HBO released a trio of images featuring the cast brooding as handsomely as they possibly can on beautiful beaches, and like, if you slapped a sepia tone or another filter on these, they could easily be album covers. Not saying, just saying. Our first photo features Olivia Cook as Alicent Hightower and Rissy Fons as Otto Hightower. According to HBO, Otto Hightower is the Hand of the King. Sir Otto loyally and faithfully serves both his king and his realm. As the Hand sees it, the greatest threat to the realm is the king's brother Daemon and his position as heir to the throne. So it sounds like he'll be at odds with Matt Smith. Not like personally Matt Smith is playing Prince Daemon Targaryen, but you probably already knew that. As for Alicent Hightower, she is the daughter of Otto Hightower, the Hand of the King, and the most comely woman in the Seven Kingdoms. She was raised in the Red Keep close to the king and his innermost circle. She possesses both a courtly grace and a keen political acumen. You remember the Red Keep, right? It's a great place to hunker down and drink a small aquarium's worth of wine when the entire world feels like it's on fire. Next up, we have Dany's ancestors, Emma Darcy as Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen, not believing a single word Matt Smith's Prince Daemon Targaryen is saying. At least that's what this photograph of their sandy staring contest looks like to me. According to HBO, Princess Rhaenyra is the king's firstborn child. She is of pure Valyrian blood, and she is a dragonrider. Many would say that Rhaenyra was born with everything, but she was not born a man. And while that never stopped Daenerys, we will see exactly how that plays out for Rhaenyra, which I'm guessing not super well based on what we see in this photo. As for Prince Daemon, he's the younger brother to King Viserys and heir to the throne. A peerless warrior and a dragon rider, Daemon possesses the true blood of the dragon. But it is said that whenever a Targaryen is born, the gods toss a coin in the air, and if it lands in a Starbucks cup, the other person has to pay for your coffee. And honestly, that's a bet I'm willing to take. What I'm not willing to take is another second looking at Matt Smith in this wig, which I'm sure, look, it's going to look better in context. I trust in the process, but it's deeply distracting and I can't look at it a second longer. Get it out of here. Anyway, last but not least, we have a first look at Steve Toussaint as Lord Corlys Velaryon, or the Sea Snake if you nasty. And fittingly enough, he's standing right by the ocean. Honestly, this guy looks cool as hell and his description sounds even better. Corlys is the Lord of House Velaryon, a Valyrian bloodline as old as House Targaryen. As the Sea Snake, the most famed nautical adventurer in the history of Westeros, Lord Corlys built his house into a powerful seat that's even richer than the Lannisters, and that claims the largest navy in the world. Seriously, please just give me a series about nautical adventures in Westeros, and I will continue to give you my $15 a month, or whatever HBO Max actually costs these days. The House of the Dragon series will also feature Paddy Considine as King Viserys Targaryen, described as a warm, kind, and decent man who only wishes to carry forward his grandfather's legacy. Eve Best as Princess Rhaenys Velaryon, a dragon rider and wife to Lord Corlys Velaryon, who was passed over as heir to the throne in favor of her brother Viserys, which I'm sure led to no bad blood at all. Sonoya Mizuno as Mysaria, a mysterious confidant of Prince Daemon Targaryen who's going to give Varys a serious run for his money, not as a mermaid, but rather as a spy master. And last but not least, there is Fabian Frankel as Sir Criston Cole, a Dornishman who's the common-born son of the steward to the Lord of Blackhaven, who has no claim to land or titles. All he has to his name is his honor and his preternatural skill with a sword. Now here's hoping we'll see that preternatural swordplay on full display in House of the Dragon, which is being co-showrun by Miguel Sapochnik, who you may remember as the director of such classic Game of Thrones episodes as Battle of the Bastards and Hardhome, to name a few. Long story short, this guy knows how to construct an epic battle scene. Now, the series, which recently went into production, is expected to hit HBO and HBO Max in 2022, so that's plenty of time to convince ourselves that we're ready to return to the world of Westeros after all. In the meantime, though, we'll keep you up to date on all things House of the Dragon over on Nerdist.com, but in the meantime, tell us, what do you think about this news? Are you excited for House of the Dragon? What other Game of Thrones spin-offs do you actually want to see?
The life and adventures of Elio Grivas, First Sword of Bravos.
Let us know in the comments below, and for the latest and greatest in the world of pop culture, stay tuned to Nerdist.com.